In the last 30 days, I created my best game since I started my indie dev journey, and I am terrified. When I got started a year and a half ago, I had zero game development experience. If it weren't for the layoff, I'm not even sure if I would have had the courage to get started. Through various challenges, informations I gathered, and the community I built for this channel, I have been slowly inching towards my ultimate goal of becoming a full-fledged game developer. And now I'm finally closer than ever to finishing my first ever indie game, Dread on Arrival, a spacefaring psychological mystery game where you try to manage your crew's mental state as you voyage through the isolating and maddening void that is the space. So how did I go from not knowing if I would ever finish making a complete game to this? And why am I terrified? 1 month ago, I attended this huge, well-known game event called PAX West. There, I sought out all the indie developers on the floor to ask this one question. What should a new and aspiring indie game dev know and do?
Don't do it. The industry sucks. Publishing is in the shitter.
Recently had my shell taken away.
If you can go get that treasure there, John, I'll gladly trade your shell for it.
There's no money in games right now. Yeah, bad time to go indie. Twitter's gone. It's run by Elon. TikTok's not what it used to be. Marketing's terrible. If you don't already have your foot in the door, it's not even worth trying. I'm kidding. Obviously, being an indie dev is so great. It's so rewarding. The only advice that really I tend to give to people just starting out is like fail fast, right? Like make a lot of games. Don't make your first game your dream game. Don't spend 3 years on it, right? Don't make the biggest fucking idea that you have. Just make games, finish them, and move on. Because odds are your first few games aren't going to be good enough. You're going to need that experience to make something really polished and exciting for people.
Get out there and do stuff. Making games takes time. It takes a lot of time. Look up tutorials online, find friends that want to collaborate together, and just make stuff. Once you start making stuff, it really starts to come together over time.
My absolute biggest mistake starting out is I started with my biggest project first. You really need to launch small projects and even like half-finished projects online to actually build an audience. Or else you really just start from scratch with what little content you have to build. Like there's a lot of people that will make small free games or $1 games on Steam. You need to do that for like your first 3 games at least before doing a big one, because you will be restarting your main one over and over again if you don't do that.
I would say cut your scope way, way down. If you're looking to get started in developing an indie game, you should definitely do a game jam. And then if you think your game is too ambitious, it should be less ambitious. It's better to release a game, any game first, and then try to make like your real project. It'll be easier to find publishers that way. It'll be easier to get funding that way just by proving that you can get a game working and on Steam, before you do your real project.
Pick something that's small and achievable that you could maybe finish in even 6 months and just get it done.
Have you ever wanted to play a fighting game where you exclusively play with your own custom characters?
Once you get your first game done, you put it on the Steam store, put it for $1, just get your name out there. It doesn't have to be the best game ever, because the next game you make is going to be better than that one. You keep improving, and eventually you're going to get to the place where everyone else is.
Yeah, just make a game and sell it. It's so obvious and simple, but it's so hard to do. You see, I'm gonna let you in on a little known dev secret. A lot of us game devs can't stick with a project and hop from ideas to ideas to ideas and never really fully committing to finish a game. You know, always caught between different brilliant ideas that pop up and never being able to see the end of it. Now, I didn't want to get caught in that trap again, so I came up with a drastic measure. More specifically, a random measure. We have a genre wheel, a theme wheel, and a modifier wheel, which we're going to spin to select what kind of game we're going to make. The spin shall commence. The rule is 1d4. Okay, one genre. That's not bad. Management. Not the most exciting, but it's okay. Management genre. I don't know what that means, but we'll figure it out. Head is 1, tail is 2. Tail, so 2 theme. We got seafaring. And then we got retrofuturism seafaring. All right. Retrofuture. This is going to stump me, isn't it? And then the modifier. Here comes the modifier. Emotional. All right, here it is. Little unexpected. I wouldn't have chosen it personally, but that's what the wheel has said. So a management genre with the theme of retrofuturism and seafaring with the added modifier of emotional. You know, I was laughing and having a good time, but deep inside of me was a fear. These were a combination of words that I have never put together in my life, but I wanted to commit to it. So I let this fear motivate me to push forward. After a long discussion and ideation on the stream, it'd be cool to have actually in some sort of ocean of the unknown. I'm not going to say like, oh, this is like a new planet or a different type of Earth. Don't even explain that. It's just a world where we're adventuring through. And I think there's like mysteries, horror, and mysteries impacting emotion and sanity. Because I want to really closely tie it to the emotion. So exploration of emotion is the main theme. So we have people. So the game loop would be like talk. That needs to result in something, right? When you talk to people or when you have an interaction with a person, keep sane versus drive insane. And what's the consequence of being insane? Like, why would I ever want to get insane? Or why would I want to avoid driving people insane? I feel like that's the important question. Because there needs to be a goal of doing either or. Are you the eldritch horror? And you don't know? Is that the question? Am I spoiling the game by saying all these things out loud? Maybe. So you're on a seafaring journey to the unknown, because you are tasked to discover this. You don't fully know, you're just asked to captain the ship. There's a relevant parties, like there's a researcher, there is a government member, and then there's a crew member, and then you're supposed to manage all this, maybe. That could be fun. So conversation for story exploration, task for actually getting the task done. So I gotta think about ship tasks. Maybe it can be an allegory for something. So like the veil, once you get into the veil, you get paranoia. The storm, you get just general reactiveness, because all these things are building up. So then instead of having a second thought on how to react, people just react very true to themselves. And the calm is like after this explosion of emotion that happened through the storm, stillness, just uncaring. Oof, that could be the consequence, I think. Darkness is the consequence. So based on what kind of emotional narrative story you've explored here, how you decide to react and resolve relational issues here during the darkness, it'll come to fruition. For example, if the engineer harbored a doubt towards the cook, and then during the darkness stages, maybe engineer commits a murder. And then when you are finally arriving at the destination, I don't know what to do about that. Like, do you actually explode into some sort of like revelation? A crew management game where emotion is the center. I wanted to play with the idea of human psyche and the fear of the unknown. You know, like, is the crew going mad and more emotional because of the maddening situation that is the isolation of the voyage? Or is the unknown filled with psychological horror? I looked at references like Lovecraftian novels to guide me towards the feel of this psychological horror. In particular, one of my viewers on stream, thanks Suzu, recommended me the short story by Lovecraft called The Temple. Zuzu says, can you read The Temple by Lovecraft on stream? You want me to read it out loud? I'm not good at reading. Audiobook time. Yeah. Everybody, close your eyes, fall asleep slowly. This is part of game development. Game development is research half the time. And especially because I think landing on the vibe is very important on expressing certain feelings. So I think it might be a relevant thing. It is long though. So on August 20th, 1917, I, Karl Heinrich Graf von Altberg Ehrenstein, Lieutenant Commander in the Imperial German Navy and in charge of the submarine U-29, deposit this bottle and record in the Atlantic Ocean at a point to me unknown, but probably about north latitude. Do you read it north latitude 20 degrees? West longitude 35? Do you say degrees? Where my ship lies disabled on the ocean floor. I do so because of my desire to set certain unusual facts before the public. It is well that the reader accept nothing which follows as object. Like even the narrator of this story is telling you that I am a unreliable narrator. It's kind of twisted that, right? Because like sometimes you read stories where like story told by an unreliable narrator. Like this person is like aware that they're unreliable narrator and just telling you, which makes it even more confusing, I guess. Interesting. Conclusively, I don't know. I mean, it's a letter. Are people actually going insane? Is the pendant or like the not pendant, the ivory figure actually relevant? Or is it a person who's going mad, drawing up hallucination that's relevant to kind of like akin to dreaming? Hallucination scene. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's interesting. I mean, that is a whole point. I think that's the kind of experience I want in the story aspect of the game, where you know you're going towards something that emitted some sort of signal, right? You found it on the map. I don't know what it is, but you don't know anything. Nobody has gone there before, and you journey through there, and people are slowly going mad. And in that ship, you're trying to keep people from going mad and keep the crew to arrive. You know, it would be really interesting to have like, when it's game over and basically you're in an empty ship, instead of just saying game over, do you go into the sea or do you go into the space donning your suit or something like that? That could be a pretty cool way to end. And then loop back to the beginning. You finally reach the light, and then after a moment, you find yourself standing in the beginning. Has that actually happened, or are you imagining things? It was perfect. After the ideation was done, I just jumped right into it. Started to ideate what the game loop was going to look like, and then I immediately got onto creating what's called a paper test. For those unfamiliar, paper play test is where you make a kind of board game-like physical representation of the game to physically play your main game loop. All right, so we have a paper play here. Mikori, are you ready? I'll explain the game. This is it. This is the paper play here. Let's start with crew limit will be max 5. But to start, you choose 3 people. Do you want to choose 3 random crews from the wheel? Or do you want to handpick them? 3 random. Here we go. All right. Engineer. Day 1. Okay. Give them your tasks. They can do one of these things. Incredible shall cook. Soldier will be lookout. Engineer will be radio. Cool. Resolve tasks. Cook. -1 stress for everyone. +1 health. They're already at max. Here comes the event wheel. Rough sea. Rough sea means everybody gets 1 stress. And then you have a task. You can task 1 person or 2 people to get you out of this rough sea. All right, 2, soldier and engineer. Okay. So no, just 1 stress for everyone, no additional. But soldier and engineer is locked out. Now we got to roll for progress. We're in this navigation progress. DC 15. 20. Wow. So you do progress. Scurvy! Congrats! Let's see who gets the scurvy. I know, it's funny. Soldier got the scurvy. So immediately, scurvy says +3 stress, 5. And they are going to be getting +1 stress every day, unless it's healed. 4, no progress. I think it's game over, guys. Day 7. So we have day 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, you have 4 more days to try and reach the destination. I mean, you have 4 days. You want to forfeit? You have 1 more day. Basically, if you don't make progress this day, you're done. So this is the last chance. All right, no other events. We're going to roll for progress. The second to last attempt here. We're navigating, so we have DC 11. 11, no! But you have 1 last day to work on this. Nev, cook, and look out. All right, here we go. Incredible for cooking. Look out for soldier. And then engineer for navigate. All right, -1 stress for everyone. So let's go. All right. The soldier was able to prevent the flood from happening. All right, coming in pretty clutch. All right, DC 11. Do we make progress? 20! Wow, what a way to finish. You arrived at your destination just in the nick of time. Good job. I'm going to ask specific questions, and then you can give me generic feedback afterwards, okay? Answer the specific question first, please. Was it intense? Did you feel the urgency and intensity? That's question number 1. Yes. Good. 2, were you able to form some sort of strategy in your head? Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, but was your mind start to look for strategy and plans instead of just randomly choosing? Yes. Cool. I love that. 3rd, was it fun? Yes or no is fine. You can say it wasn't fun. That's fine. And then you can give me general feedback to help me get there. Miss Corey says, yes, I mean, getting to the end and winning was satisfying, taking out graphic art, etc. Yeah, it had to be tactical when they got taken by the event, lol. No, lol, I was about to give up there when hitting 6 days because I thought I didn't have a chance. Yeah, I thought that too. I was going to stop you, but the calculation turned out that you could do it. All right, this is fun. Okay, like I enjoyed watching you play that. That gave me a lot of notes here. I mean, we're in a good stopping point, but I want to do more testing. I kind of want to see more play tests. Anyone else want to try the game? See, this is useful because I don't have to waste so much time setting up the game before finding out that the game idea needs to change completely. Once the main idea and the game loop has been determined with the paper playtest, everything else kind of fell together really quickly. Okay, so I'm about to talk to my sound designer. We haven't quite figured out the terms yet, so I don't want to say if I'm partnering with or hiring just quite yet. We're going to talk about the game, just this is our first conversation with the artist, so I'm a little excited. I never actually worked with anyone before like this. So this is going to be interesting talk to be had.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. That's why you said hi. All right. Hello, Freddie?
No, Freddie's good, yeah.
Okay, sounds great. I am recording myself here, so your voice might be in it. And I know you already mentioned that you're okay with that. Okay, cool. All right, so did you have a chance to look at the kind of like the test play I was doing with the viewers?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was very intrigued by that. I don't know if I mentioned last time, but I am quite into board games. The last few years, particularly, I've been getting really into complex board games. I mean, not Monopoly or whatever.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that was all very interesting.
Right, because the playtesting kind of does look like a board game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very similar.
So, I mean, you got the general game idea. I mean, I talk a lot about like the kind of aspect of the game as well, which is kind of like a main theme for me. With the artist so far, we have talked about the aesthetics, and we're leaning towards, because we are supposed to include this like retrofuturism aspect, we're leaning towards kind of like the Treasure Planet type of situation, where aesthetically I think we're in space. That's exactly what we're going for. But then I think the imagery wise, it's going to be heavily like ship and ocean based. You know, it's not practical or functional, but like aesthetically, it's that whole like, if you were to envision future scopes of someone who's only seen, you know, oceanic voyage, you know. So that's the kind of like look we are having here.
Yeah, I mean, you want the emphasis to be on like the stress factor, right, and the emotions that the in-game characters are feeling. What I wasn't sure is it like because it's a management game, right? Is it going to be like you, the player, are a member of the crew, or are you kind of like playing God with the crew in that sense? If you see what I mean?
As you participate in the story, when you're having a conversation, if there's ever a conversation part, you are still a character. You're a captain. You're a captain of the ship, but you don't have a physical.
Okay, so a bit of both.
Yeah. So in some sense, it kind of feels like you as a player outside of the computer monitor is participating through the window of the monitor.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean, in terms of music and sound design, I mean, it's kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, but like, if it's kind of psychologically affecting the characters, like the stress and everything, like you're saying, then there's various effects that we could put on the music to indicate that. We could also have the music change physically, but, you know, just putting it through, say, like some sort of EQ or lowering pitch or, you know, slowing things down to make it sound like the NPC or the player character's kind of perception of the world around them is changing. So too does the music, I guess, like you were hearing it in real life, I suppose. I'm
imagining a little bit orchestral in some ways.
Okay.
I think it goes well with the whole retrofuturism feel to it, and then I think there's something about like natural string sounds that just kind of feels that void in a very like subtle way.
And they're very emotive as well, so it makes sense for an emotional game.
Yeah. Sound design wise, my inspiration would be something like Prometheus in the recent times, right? Or what's that one movie that's really popular that I really enjoyed too? It's the space one where they're journeying to the black hole. They go back to Interstellar. Yeah, right. Interstellar also has like a big kind of like swelling, intense moments and those things, because this is like a space game, right? That hub theme or something basic where that's loopable, we can put in the demo, and then from that I think we're gonna get a lot of inspiration, and I'm going to start forming some very detailed list of like intended sound play cues and all that stuff as well, and then you can have your own input and all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think once I kind of get something done and then you can implement it, then you can probably tell more what you do or don't want just off of that. Because as you say, it's hard to have something in your head straight away when you're thinking about so many other things as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So once I've got something for that, hopefully it'll all come together a bit more.
I know I've said a bunch of stuff like orchestral, blah 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 blah, but like if you deviate from that with intention, like I have no qualms about it. I'm not a type of client that's like it must sound like this. I'm just more like.
No, I think that sounds like a pretty good idea. I think I'll at least explore that first, and then if it doesn't work for whatever reason, you know, some unprecedented reason, I don't think that's going to happen. But if it doesn't work with strings, then we can obviously move on to something else. But I think it will be good with strings.
All right, sounds great then. So excited.
Yeah, nice. It's going to be good fun. I'm looking forward to it as well.
I tapped on my friends and people that I knew from before to partner with me on art, music, and then I myself became the programmer for the game. And all of this was done within a week. The project grew significantly day by day, going from paper play to initial scaffolding of no image, and with all the assets placed together, and finally 1 month later, we have this playable demo. I should make it so that only a few people are available in the beginning. Have them locked. Oh shoot, I didn't give him any work. Traveling to Pulsar Q2E station. So back to what I was saying in the beginning. Why am I terrified? You see, this project has been a blast to work on, and I'm so proud of the progress we have made so far. But at the same time, I was afraid, what if people didn't see what I saw in the game? What would happen to my motivation? What would happen to my future trajectory of this game dev journey? What if I publish this game and then there is absolutely nobody who wants to play this game? How should I feel? What does that mean for me? And yeah, honestly, I don't know the answer to that. But for now, I'm just gonna have to trust the process, putting aside any of the worries of the future and just taking it one step at a time. Hopefully those steps will build up to a whole floor and maybe even climbing a huge mountain, right? So what's left for me and my project? Dread on arrival. While it is playable, I think it needs a little bit more iteration to make sure that the main loop is really tight and fun. So there's gonna be some playtesting, some adjustments, and then I'm gonna have to create a website, I'm gonna have to create a Steam page, and encourage people to go there and wishlist the game and play the demo to test the game. I have never created a website or Steam page for any project of mine before, so it's gonna be a challenge. You know, what's interesting is that because I'm actively learning always, people who are witnessing it on my videos and stream have always asked me what is the best way to grow their knowledge. Now, if it's not already clear from watching this video, my take on this is always learn by doing. Just jump into it. Just start working on it, start learning from your curiosity. And that's where Brilliant comes in. Brilliant is a platform where you learn by doing, with thousands of interactive lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. You know, I find it so important to create this habit of learning, and Brilliant makes it easy by helping you build real knowledge in just minutes a day. It's the opposite of mindless scrolling. Turn your curiosity into comprehension with courses in math, programming, data, and AI that are designed to build real skills and develop your intuition. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days, visit brilliant.org/developer-Ezra or scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off on your annual premium subscription. Thanks for your support.